Patreon member shout out. Только скажу, дальше нас двое, только огни. А я дома, мы убежим, нас не догонят, дальше от них, дальше я тама, ночь проводник, спрячь наши тени за облаками, nos не надойта. Hey guys, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you today with a VV Omi update video. Guys, if you're new, welcome. For not, welcome back. I love you all. Everyone say hello, Dashy. Hello, Dashy. Just coming back from the gym. It was a pretty good time. There has been a lot of, I don't want to say complaints, been a lot of people. So I want to get to the party. I want to get to the VV stuff. I am going on to the VV stuff, but there's a couple things I really need to go over as far as there have been multiple people that I have tried to have bets with, saying like, hey, I bet you, Earth 2 Essence will be this by this point, or Omi will be this by this point, or whatever it is. And outside of a couple of people, like Asian Dan, Dan the Man, some of you might call him Paper Hand Dan, even though he's got more Omi than most people. And the Todd Father, outside of those two, and maybe like one or two other people, the reason why none of those bets are taking place, like actually taking place, like, hey, we're papering this deal, there's an escrow, is not because of legality stuff. It's mostly because of solvency issues. It's mostly because a lot of people don't have that type of commitment that's going to be liquid. And I've seen this before. I see it right now in the market. Why am I always keen to say, okay, well, we're going to put this in an escrow account and we're going to, paper the deal so that once it happens, reaches a certain point, either me or you win, and I get the money. Most people are not willing to do that. Well, I don't want to lock it up. Okay, well, then why even try? And again, I see this in collectibles because you see a bunch of people that have certain things in this type of market that are selling, because I've seen it before in Pokemon, seen it before in other collecting things. A lot of times what they do is they choose like the I don't know if anyone's ever read The Millionaire Next Door, where you have two sets of people that they're comparing against each other. They have two doctors, both like surgeons, both make like $700,000 a year, and they say like, okay, well, one is worth 7.5 million, and the other is worth a couple $100,000. Now, why? Because you have that one person, that one doctor that's just spending on everything, just spending on new cars, new houses that they don't need. And again, I see this. Boomers are going to be all like, Chavez is the wrong advice, but I see this all the time. Saw this with people that I used to work with. So let's bring it down from 700,000 to 70,000 because that's more relatable for most people. What I've seen is people that I used to work with that would make around the same that I did. The reason that they didn't make as much or more is not because they were more talented or whatever. It's because they didn't sacrifice. They had houses, they had whatever, like stuff that they didn't even use. They were divorced. They didn't just have an apartment. They had actual house, bunch of bedrooms they didn't use. And why did I in that field get to retire only after 4 years, where they've been in that field for 20 years and they have nothing? Because they treat themselves a lot. They had a lot of fat on them. And I don't mean physically. I mean like they had a lot of extra added weight. They had a lot of extra added baggage, and this does have something to do with collectibles, does have something to do with the VV party. I will get to that. But it's the, you put two people, put them against each other. One lives within their means. One lives in this, in this grandpa house that landlord just said, hey, it's going to be an extra $75 a month for the AC, which I have used about once today, or about once last month. Why am I in this grandpa house? Where somebody that made as much money as I did probably owns an actual house. Again, I only have one room in this house. Well, somebody that had bought a house, let's say 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, let's say it's nothing crazy, and they took their $500,000 and they bought a house and they bought a car, they bought a Bugatti, whatever that they want, because $500,000, you don't need that to buy a house. You need maybe 100K, maybe 150K, down payment, as of a few years ago anyway. Now it's insane. And, me, I'm still driving my 2012 Honda Civic that I got a couple months before it deployed, paid it off on deployment, Is that car really safe or really great? No, not really. Is it good on gas? Yeah, it's actually pretty good on gas. Well, what I'm trying to say is that there is a difference between being wealthy and acting wealthy. And there's a difference between people that will say one thing and showboat their new like crazy collectible that they can't afford, and then they're going to have to paper hand it when things get tough. Because if you are barely making it by with all the extra stuff that you have going on, and something changes like a recession or in a bear market, suddenly gas goes up, price of food goes up, rent's going through the roof, then you have a what do you call it? Then you have a people that are forced to get out of positions that they shouldn't have been in the first place. Where you have other people that say like, okay, well, I live within my means, and nothing's really going to change. Like I said, I've seen that. If you're somebody with assets, like a good amount of, like a nest egg, good amount of liquidity, you're going to be able to take advantage in this bear market. You're going to be able to take advantage in this giant valley that we have that is Veve. Why? Because I know a bunch of other people that are very, very liquid, that are very, very, that are new whales, that haven't really been in this that long, that are just coming up. And one of those guys is going to be on the podcast tomorrow. That is Greg Schultz. He might be watching this right now. How's it going, fam? He was the not political analyst. He was a general election strategist, and Biden's campaign manager. And basically, he's in Veve, and people like him are in Veve and Omi, and they're cleaning house right now. Absolutely bananas. So let's add Hello K to the stream. What's going on, fam? How you doing?
Hey, Randy. How's it going?
Pepper it.
It has started.
I am doing okay. I've just been rambling on a little bit about I guess like not even fundamentals. I didn't even get to the fundamentals collectible. I didn't get to anything yet. It was just me ranting and raving about like kind of acting wealthy versus actually being wealthy. Like you make more money than probably most people in this hobby. And I see you. It doesn't look like a mansion. It seems like you're living well within your means. Tell me about your budget. Like within, you don't be like, oh yeah, I make this much and I spend this much, but within. Tell us about it.
Yeah. No, I'm quite transparent. So obviously I'm in the UK, so what we earn we might be different to people in the US. Because obviously living standards are different here. Versus maybe someone who lives in, I don't know, somewhere like India, where small amount of money can go quite well, relative to us, can go a long way there. So I'm in like people already know I'm a software engineer. In terms of the UK, the average salary here, I believe, was last reported to be £32,000. Which is around about average salary. So this is across the entire UK, which is about, I think that's $38,000 a year average.
Yeah.
So it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you look at the UK, there's we have a tax system where they basically subsidize a lot of stuff that you may have to pay out of pocket in the US. So healthcare, we don't have to pay anything up front. It's all taxpayer money. Education, we don't have an absolute ridiculous education system where I believe in the US, like sometimes you have to pay like $50,000 a year, or like it can be higher.
Yeah. For some of I mean, you can, if you really want to, go to like a state university and pay like maybe 15 a year or something, but yeah, you want to go to like these insane schools where I mean, I worked with people that went to Ivy League schools, and I'm like, okay, we're in the same thing. And I don't have doo-doo. I didn't. Yeah. I had one semester of community college, and that was it. So yeah, depending on the job you go to, college I think a lot of times is really a waste of money.
Yeah, I actually agree, to be honest. Like, because my degree is in pharmaceuticals, right?
No.
And I'm a software engineer, which is nothing related to pharmaceuticals. I basically self-taught myself, and I did like a short kind of 12-week kind of boot camp sort of thing. And I'm earning more than what I did when I was in like when I was in biotech, like way more. And a lot of people who kind of did the same sort of route as me, many of them were like school leavers. They didn't go to university or anything. So, from there, it's like, well, university is just one option. You don't have to go university. You can do plenty of other things. You can like do what I did, which was, spend 12 weeks doing a coding boot camp and then basically get a job without all the graduate debt.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm in the upper quartile for sure. But living standards have gone up a lot in the UK recently. That's like rising energy costs, rising food costs. The UK recently left the European Union, so there's a lot of additional tariffs for like imports and things. So obviously that affects consumers down that supply chain. Like, you're importing vegetables from the, Europe, then there's tariffs and the supermarkets have to increase their prices and then the consumer has to pay more. And then, where are they going to get extra money from? It's like, then they go to their bosses and ask for a raise. And then the bosses are like, okay, we'll give you a raise, but then we have to charge our customers more. And then everything just gets inflated and it gets lost in the cycle of inflation. And then the currency gets devalued. And then it's like, what do you do? So, yeah, I mean, I'm doing okay for myself. Obviously, if I don't invest and like, try and make my money work for me, I'm going to be in that position where I'm like, pretty much, if I'm lucky, I would probably not have to work for the rest of my life. But there are plenty of people that they'll never escape that cycle. Well, not that they won't ever escape that cycle, but if they don't make a change in their lifestyle, they're going to be stuck in that cycle. And they're going to be basically working till they're like, into their 70s, finally getting their kind of like retirement pension pot, which is going to be barely enough to survive. So they're probably still going to have to do some form of work or find money from somewhere.
That sounds awful.
Not a good way to live.
Could you imagine like working in your 60s or 70s? Just like, oh my God, just never end. Yeah. Now there was, I'll bring this back home in a second, but I remember going to a friend's birthday party like a couple years ago, and it was with people that had almost made around. It was a dual income couple. The girl made a bit less, and the guy made almost as much as I did, but again, dual income. And they're like, oh wow, you live alone, and how do you keep getting like this money? I was like, I didn't want to say it, but that couple had gone on vacation a couple times that year and were spending a good like 15% of their income like on that. Like, and I was like, even for people that had, again, dialing back for people that are making less, like, okay, spend spend $500 on a weekend with your buddies, or buy a stock, or buy a collectible, or buy whatever. At the end of in the next couple of years, that stock or that collectible, let's say it doesn't go up or down. Let's say it just stays the same. Whereas after that weekend with your buddies, you don't really have anything. So it's a lot of price is what you pay, value is what you get. How many collectible are? And I'm not saying that people they shouldn't take trips. Like you went on a trip recently, but it was like more of a networking thing. Like you had somebody on there, like you had someone like take a video and say like, hey, Omi's my homie. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So I mean, I obviously do take trips, right? But I'll budget for it. I'll basically make small lifestyle changes so that, So you've probably read the book. The Robert Kiyosaki one, the
Rich Dad Poor Dad one. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's read it now. Like he says, like the rich person. Okay, so he says the poor person, what they do is they'll freely spend money, and at the end of the month, whatever's left, they'll choose to invest that, right? But he says the rich person, what they do is they'll already have a fixed amount of money which they're going to invest, and then whatever's left after they've invested is what they're going to decide, what can I now freely spend it on. So I'll apply that, right? Like for the year, I'll have like a fixed number where I'm like, this is money that I want to put away. Whatever's left is what I'm going to be spending, like for like my own pleasure and whatnot. And if there's a trip involved in there, I'll try and like pull money away from somewhere else. Like maybe I'll eat a bit more cheaply, for a few months, or probably not order expensive drinks at restaurants, because like when you go out and eat food, and then you look at a drinks menu and the drinks cost nearly as much as the food. It's like maybe I'll go with tap water, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, these trips in themselves have been like huge investments. Like I can't stress enough. Like if you want to get involved in Web3, like the best thing you can do, well, one of the best things you can do outside of learning is to go to these Web3 based events and just get involved with like the people there. Like, the event that I went to Dubai, the Crypto Expo in Dubai, that's where I met Venkatesh, right? And if I hadn't met him, I would never have like gotten more involved with like, the Ecomi team, like in the background kind of thing. And I would have like learned about, this thing about like Epico Regal. Like, he was like showing me, and he's like, we're going to do this and that. And I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. And then, through that, I made like, some even more connections. I went to Amsterdam recently, where I networked with the Immutable X team. So the IMX team, like, they're really cool guys. It was Harrison. He's like the kind of brand success guy. And, through him, he's the one who basically made the red circle on IMX happen, because we were all asking for that, because it said ERC20. It didn't have the OMI logo on it. And then more recently, actually, in 2 weeks, I'm going to be flying to Singapore. And that's really cool, because that's the Crypto Expo in Singapore. And I've never been to Singapore, and I'm really, really looking forward to that. So that came about as a result of, again, my connection with Venkatesh, because he was going to go to that event anyway. I don't know if David's going to that one, because, David kind of does go to like similar events as him anyway. But yeah, through Venkatesh, he's like, the company's kind of funding it, and he just invited me along. So, I'd have to pay for it, which is really, really, that's really cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And, I think a couple of other people I know that he might bring them along as well. But yeah, it's like, probably when I'm at that event, I might meet other like cool, like-minded people, who maybe have offices in London as well. I get, kind of like network with them, see what they're doing, how can I connect with these guys. I really recommend going to these events, 100%.
Yeah, great example of like a networking event, like kind of like a working vacation, kind of something where that's like good fat. That's like the avocados that you eat in your diet. It's that's not the cake that that everyone wants. That it's some gratification. So as far as collecting, as Braver Sensei said, with what criteria do you collect in Veve? Is it popularity, scarcity?
Myself, popularity. And I say that because scarcity in Veve, it's a very hit and miss kind of thing, right? Because we are going to have the ability to make things more scarce anyway through the burning mechanism. So scarcity you can always change, but will you have the ability to make an IP more popular? No. The popularity you can't control, the scarcity you can. So I would always personally go for popularity, because that's the one factor that you can never control. Like, for example, Dr. Profit, right? Like that the guy has like clearly a lot of profit. Like he's got it in his name. And if he wants to, which I'm pretty sure I think maybe he suggested he was going to do it, is he could like buy half the supply of any collectible in the market, and that's gone basically. So now he'll do it. He's cut the scarcity in half right there.
Yeah. So I'm do you have any ideas which one it is? I thought it was the Cora.
I think we already know. If you look up Cora on the Veve app, you haven't seen it?
It's not it. No, I asked him. It's not it.
Oh, but the Cora prices are like, they went up to like 100 gems or something today.
Yeah, it was nuts. But no, that's because I asked him, and it's like, that's not it. It's like, man.
Oh,
doing a fake out.
Else pumped up the Coras. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. If I was to hazard a guess, I would say maybe the Waltz. He has a lot of Waltz, but that's probably too expensive.
I hope he doesn't burn the wall. but I think he only has like 8 or 9%. I say like only as if it's a super
Yeah.
small amount, but yeah, no, I think he's got a little bit of that. So I know you collect a lot of the ducks in this one, and you have was Hero always a short-term play for you because you put in a lot in, you got a lot out, and are you still actively collecting some stuff in there? Are you actively? I know you're keeping those DC, the Action Comics, that's particular card. Anything else you're keeping?
So make it appear out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything
I
else you're
actually
actively?
have like in front of me as well, like just to like I don't know, like kind of like fiddle with. Yeah. So with Hero, my plan was to get in super early, and luckily that plan paid off because I was able to sell a lot of my duplicate stuff, and my duplicate stuff that I was able to sell, not only did it cover my initial cost, but it also gave me like a nice like 30% profit, 40% profit.
Yeah.
So that came out as a winning play for me. So my approach to Hero is the same as Veve. From a collector's point of view, I don't care too much about stacking. I will stack like a very specific item, like on Hero, I stack the Action Comics.
Yeah.
On Veve, I stack the Donald Ducks. But my aim will always try and be to have one of everything so that I can complete sets. So on Veve, I've got like 104, 105 sets, something like that. So, I've got a relatively good amount of sets. On Hero, I've completed every set apart from the mythics. So
Nice.
The mint numbers matter quite a lot in Hero. So I'll keep my lowest mint numbers for my collection to make sure my leaderboard position is quite high. So I'm still in the top 25 globally.
Nice.
Yeah, even though I haven't updated my collection. I'm just missing the mythics because I never got any of those. But I keep like my low mints like properly like sealed up and everything. So this is quite a low mint Superman. It's like a low 3-digit mint out of like I think 16,000. And then I've got like a super low digit mint Wonder Woman here. This is like a 2-digit one.
Oh, nice. What's the lowest mint that you got so far?
I do believe I've got a single-digit mint. I think I've got an A5 or an A4. So that's like the 4th or 5th ever minted one. I've got one very, very low mint. My lowest I've ever pulled was an A2. So I got A2 Katana. Katana's the girl with the sword, the kind of Japanese, from DC.
Yeah, dude, she's great. I love that.
I did sell that one though. On the day I got it, I sold it for $1,000. And it's a common card as well. So that's the other thing is a lot of these common cards they go for $1, but if you get a good mint, it can go for, in my case, $1,000. Because the mints are what matters, not so much the rarity.
Yeah, I mean, she also had that appearance in Suicide Squad, where people started to learn about her a little bit more. So I did this poll the other day. I thought it was interesting. I want your opinion on it, saying, "Hey, how many people knew who Batman or who knew Eddie Russo and Todd McFarlane before Veve, and how many people are just like, oh, it's just a different version of Batman?" And like 89% of people said like, I have no idea who they were.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
I think that in conjunction with that, you would see also the same thing for like Thor or Hawkeye. Like, how many people knew about them before like the MCU came out? Do you think that how much of an impact do you think movies have on these collectibles, like Hero cards or on Veve collectibles?
Yeah, I mean, a very good example I was talking about in Spaces today, right, is so I view Veve as doing something similar to what Disney did. So when Star Wars, before Disney picked it up, people can argue about this, but the data showed that Star Wars was pretty much like on the decline. Like, obviously it wasn't like dead, but it was dying. Like, people kind of lost interest in it. Sorry?
What year or what?
So it was like, if you look up the revenue data, it was around about 2014, 2015, year on year up until about 2018. Every year was a decrease in revenue.
Even after The Force Awakens had launched in 2015? Or was that just a spike that you kind of don't count?
Oh, actually, it might have been up till 25th. No. Force Awakens, that didn't come out in 2015, did it?
December. Well, it came out December 2015, so it probably wouldn't have shown revenue until 2016. But yeah, it came out
Was it
December
2015
15th,
or
I think.
2016 it came out?
I mean, I maybe it was. Maybe I'm not, because no, Rogue One came out in 2016. Because I saw that. Yeah, Force Awakens 2015 in December.
Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, there was this period where basically they were on the decline. Actually, you know what? I think they did actually have a decline in revenue that year as well. I think Force Awakens didn't do that well.
Oh my God.
Not as well as it could have, yeah. Yeah, so basically they were on the decline, right? And then it was when Disney started to do that thing with the Disney Plus TV shows, and they started targeting, they were trying to adapt Star Wars and target it towards different demographics.
Yeah.
And The Mandalorian, that one hit a lot of demographics because the characters, there were so many different characters that various different groups could relate to.
Yeah.
They had like a protagonist who was like, like kind of like cool, and then they had like a kind of main female character, and then they had Grogu, and Grogu was like he became the star of the show. Like, the
Yeah.
show was called Mandalorian, but they might as well just call it the Grogu show.
Yeah, those memes.
Yeah. And so that hit so many demographics, and then that kind of like pumped up like the valuation of Star Wars so much from merchandise sales, because merchandise, the Grogu merch was just selling like crazy. And so, like when it comes to this whole like marketing aspect, I think Veve, what they're doing is they're doing something similar where they're able to take something that, maybe a lot of people don't quite know of, and they're presenting it in a medium that's relatable to people. In this case, 3D statues. Like, you come to Veve because you have an interest in like, these 3D AR collectibles, right? And so it doesn't matter exactly what the content is. Like, the medium is stuff that everyone on this app is interested in. So that kind of serves as the gateway, kind of like how Disney was using like, these kind of things that appeal to these different demographics as like a gateway into getting them into Star Wars. Very good example. My girlfriend doesn't care about Star Wars at all, like literally did not care. But because Grogu was really cute, she happily watched the entire Mandalorian series with me, and which she would not have done otherwise. She would have fallen asleep or like felt like she was being forced to watch it. But literally, she was like, "I'm only watching this because Baby Yoda is cute."
Wow.
And
So,
in the end,
so
she didn't mind it. She found it okay, like, which is
so
surprising.
she wasn't really engrossed in the story at all.
I mean, she's not. She doesn't even understand Star Wars.
Yeah.
She followed along with the Mandalorian. She kind of got it, but she was just like, "I'm only watching it because Baby Yoda's cute."
I wonder how many people she represents. Like she might represent like 1 million people that like, yeah, just for Baby Yoda. It's possible. That's so interesting. So that's also why I think Netflix is a lot of people are saying like, oh, buy Netflix while it's down, and like, like you said, Baby Yoda merch like sells like hotcakes, sells like mother flappers. But I feel like Netflix doesn't have a lot of merch. Like, how many people do you see wearing like a Netflix shirt or like I mean, maybe like Stranger Things or what was that thing with the people killing each other with like 100 million people watched?
Squid Games.
Squid Games, yeah. Maybe like they'll have that, but I feel like there's not, characters that are really selling like the big stuff, like Disney pushes their product. Sort of advertising.
That's the thing. Like, I think I would my analogy of Veve is I describe it as the Netflix of NFTs. So that's essentially what they're doing. They're bringing all these brands together in one spot, just like Netflix brings all these TV shows in one spot. One platform, you can enjoy them all. Just like Veve, you've got one platform, whatever IP you like, most likely Veve might have something related to it.
So if you were, I mean, it's got to be nuanced, because like you don't want to do any crazy marketing with Veve right now, because it's they still sell out everything relatively quickly, but I think they and they have done stuff with like they just started a German ad for Jurassic Park, and they have Jurassic Park, they're doing decon parties and whatever. I had this idea that was brought to me by tomorrow's guest. It'll be Greg Schultz. Says like, yo, like Veve should pay for a bunch of YouTubers to go to like VCon or go to NFT NYC and go to like these places just to promote Veve. Like, and I think that they would make their money back. Like they would that would be like a net positive for them for the amount of people that would go in. But if you were in charge of marketing, what would you be doing?
So with marketing, right, is at the moment, if it was me, I would probably not be marketing too much, actually, which I think is exactly what Veve is doing. And the reason for that is the app is not ready still. As in the main things that will make this app blow up have not been integrated yet. So if I'm bringing in new users, I don't want them to complain about their money is locked up, so MTO needs to be fully working, well tested. I also want to make sure that when they come, there's something more to do in the app than just buy and collect. Like there needs to be something to do. So MCP needs to be there. But most importantly, I mean, other projects don't do this, but I like to believe that David and Dan, they are good people and they are appreciative of the people who supported them and they haven't forgotten about them. So, and I would be the same. So if it was me, I would ensure 100% before I market that there is a way that the OMI token would benefit before I do that. Because the people who purchased the OMI tokens right at the start, like 4 or 5 years ago, they're the ones who basically, breathed life into this project. Like they're the ones who funded it. They're the ones who, kicked it off in the first place and kept it going and stuck by it for so many years. So I would make sure that before I even think about mass marketing, that when new users come in and buy things and interact on the app, it's going to have an effect on the OMI token. If it doesn't, then I'm gonna hold off on the marketing. And I think that's partly why they're holding off on certain IP, which we speculate they have, but they're not going to release. It's going to bring in too many people who are then going to be disappointed about some of the lack of features that aren't yet implemented. So yeah, like if it comes to marketing, when it does happen, I know that Veve implemented a promo code. So, ensuring that promo code is used as much as possible. So, ensuring that there's promotions at as many events as possible, as many tie-ins with film and cinema. I would definitely use influencer marketing, which is something that they don't. So they do it kind of at the moment. They do kind of some partnerships with certain YouTubers. Kind of like more big general crypto YouTubers. I know that they do speak with crypto-based YouTubers to create these partnerships, right? But I don't think they've kind of implemented many of them yet. I don't know how many of them they've secured, but they are actively working on it. I can guarantee that.
I know of one, and he's waiting. He's waiting to make that. He's waiting to make these videos. Yeah. So that's fun. The one that they had was Crypto R Us, and here's what I like. And I get it. The dude's got like partnerships out the yin yang. He's got like a whole bottom row of people that like is partners the channel. I just wish that every single time someone super chatted him about like calling me, hey, like what do you think? Like what are your feelings on it? Long term, short term, and every single time his answer was like, yeah, I really like their licenses. They're there, they got a lot of licenses. And like that was it. Like there was no other information that was given from him. I wish they would give them like a cheat sheet or something. Or is it like their new job or their most recent job posting at LinkedIn from like a month ago or sometime in May said like, hey, you should have a level of understanding about anime. It's like, oh, okay, that makes sense because they're going to be, getting into anime. So I really wish they would do. I hope they do something like that for their YouTubers. Now, maybe they use Crypto R Us as like a test run. But yeah, You mentioned.
Did you ever watch do you watch any animes, or did you ever watch any anime?
Oh yeah, so I mean, outside of like Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z, there's my Royal Saiyan crest. I got
Nice.
yeah, I got Horse on me because I read Fruits Basket when I was younger, and I really liked Rin. She was born in the year of the horse, and I was born in the year of the horse. So I watched that anime. My Hero Academia, Attack on Titan. I like
Oh,
a
nice.
lot of mainstream
I'll show
stuff.
you. Let me show you what's going to be the new Grail on Veve. This is the Grail of Grails.
Oh yeah, like that bod, the bod goals.
Yeah, I got this in Japan.
Oh wow,
And then
bod
I'll
goals.
show you something cool as well. I've got the variant as well. This one's cool.
Oh, Black Goku.
Fully black. Yeah.
Goku Black. There was
They come in two variants: the black one and the full color Ultra Instinct.
Did you see all of Dragon Ball Super?
Yeah. I watched it multiple times.
There's this one episode where the cops are like confused about like, is that Goku? Is that Goku Black? And they're about to like shoot him, and then Trunks has to say, "Wait, he's not black." And it was like the greatest meme of the year.
I remember that. Yeah, that was hilarious. I was like, man, who wrote this?
So there was I know you just had a little bit of a withdrawal from Hero there. Have you gathered any more Omi since then, or are you waiting for it to?
The money's in the exchange. I'm waiting for the dip. The dip is coming. I know it is. When Omi hits 0.1 cents, I'm ready.
Yeah. All right.
Cavell thinks it's going to go even lower. Cavell said 0.07 cents. Like.
Yeah. The guy that he had on.
I'm going to go with 0.1 because if it's 0.1, I'm happy to buy at that price. I can't complain.
Yeah. The guy that he had on is a really, really great like crypto trader, like a really good TA guy. And he's been calling for like 3 zeros for like I met him in New Jersey like a month or two ago. And he's just like, yeah, I've been doing this for a long time. And there's actually somebody else that I had talked to that is buddies with a guy that has like a quant that's apparently like never been wrong, like it has not had a wrong call, and said like, yeah, like that's probably gonna go down 3 zeros also. I was like, well fudge, okay. So I mean, if it does, it might go down for I guess like a second. I know you said like 0.1 or 0.001. So if it does, it might touch there and then just bounce back really quickly because there's a lot of people that are going to buy it as soon as it gets there. So we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. You know what's interesting, right? Is I was going to ask you about this as well. Like, what do you think? So we've been talking a lot about this on Spaces, right? And this links back to like which collectibles are going to be the most valuable moving forwards, and like like what's desirable. And obviously, there's that psychological aspect with what's desirable on Veve is what's pumping the most because people want to try and when things are moving, they're like, oh, people are interested in it, let me buy in, and then it creates like this ripple effect. Like we've been seeing with the Vader a lot. Like obviously Vader is very popular, but then the price just got ridiculously catalyzed. Like some people who are just sat there on the sidelines started buying in when it finally hit like 2K. It's like probably should have bought it when it was lower. If Cavell keeps guessing enough, eventually he'd make it one right.
Shots fired from Pudding Cheeks.
Oh man! Oh yeah, that was Pudding Cheeks. I didn't realize. Yeah, Pudding Cheeks is hilarious. Yeah. So basically, I was looking at this as from like a perspective of why the Vader did so well, and it's because Vader or Star Wars specifically, there's a small group of people within the Star Wars fandom who are incredibly wealthy, who are super, super hardcore collectors, right? And so even though Star Wars as a whole doesn't actually generate as much revenue as some other IP that we have on Veve, for example, Elsa generates more global revenue than Star Wars combined. But that's mainly because of the young little girls out there who ask their parents to buy them Elsa stuff.
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh also, he generates more revenue than the entire Star Wars franchise combined. But that's because there are a lot of young kids out there who have Winnie the Pooh stuff. Like parents will, many times buy Winnie the Pooh stuff because a lot of these parents also grew up with Winnie the Pooh. And so it's like, they buy it for their kids. So, then you have to ask the question, okay, are the people buying Elsas? Are the people buying Winnie the Poohs? Are they on the Veve app? Or are they even in the Web3 space? Probably not. Like, you're not going to get 4-year-old girls, in Web3. It's just not a thing. But then you look at the demographics. Okay, so that's part of the reason why Veda did, people speculated why it did so well. It's because that hardcore group of collectors is around. Some of them are in Veve. Many of them aren't yet. But the speculation is eventually they're going to come. And when a few of these guys come, the Star Wars stuff is going to pump like crazy. So this is the same reasoning I had for Banksy stuff. I think Banksy stuff will do really well because the niche group of collectors in Banksy, they're very, very wealthy. And they spend a crap lot, like tons of money on Banksy stuff. And so I was like, okay, if we apply that, if we look at kind of the NFT space right now, what is the biggest group, the wealthiest group within NFTs? It's the aged 30 to 39 years old males. That's the main source of money in NFTs. 30 to 39-year-old male guys. And so then you can like look into that data further, right? It's like, okay, what kind of things would age 30 to 39-year-old guys like? So what did they grow up with? Well, Batman makes sense. Superman, like these kind of like super like,
90s cartoons.
But then I was like, you know what? How many of these guys grew up and are fanatical about like anime such as Dragon Ball Z? And pretty much every 30 to 39-year-old guy I know they're a freaking Dragon Ball Z fan. So I was like, man, even though globally Dragon Ball Z doesn't do the numbers of Disney stuff, the fact that the demographic that has the most money in Veve is the same demographic that falls under the type of people that like Dragon Ball Z, it stands to reason that we've already got the people who would spend money on Dragon Ball Z stuff in Veve at a disproportionate level, because that's the demographics of Web3 right now.
And they're going to just continue making more. I think you hit peak money making in your 40s for your guy. Or for women, it's much lower because a lot of them leave the workforce. But for your guy, it's in your 40s, and the majority of people that watch me are from 25 to 44. That's. I mean, I assume it's the same with you. Yeah. And I have like 2.1% of girls that watch me. Like it's mostly guys.
Yeah. I think that's more than me. I've got like 1%.
Oh, nice. You got to show your bird, man. You got to show your bird, and then you'll get more.
Oh yeah,
get more girls. Yeah. So I think that. Yeah, like that'll only get bigger, and this is also before OMI to NFT. So when you have a bunch of people that have a bunch of OMI and it's waiting there, like this one person had I think it was $16,000 waiting for. Once you're able to get OMI to NFT, then you're going to be like, okay, I can get some of the things that I want. Massive central matter. So there's it's weird. There's these, I'm just talking about like high school, but still younger guys. There was either. It was the nerds, and it was like the black kids that really, really liked anime. Like they
the black kids, like so random.
Yeah, it was like those were the two groups. It was the nerd. It wasn't even band geeks. It wasn't even the band. It was like the specific type of like anime fedora wearing, like like nerd, like and then it was like the black kids that all like that's the one thing that like they bonded over. And they were like they got to see what it was like to be cool for a while. And yeah, it's like Seinfeld. Like a lot of people go in and yeah, I mean that's what we grew up with, and they keep making content for for more kids and stuff. So I mean, like I said, is Dragon Ball Super, that they have a new movie coming out this month as well, I think.
Oh yes, I believe they do. Yeah.
Yeah. So like they've done a really good job at continuously making content. Honestly, all anime. Give us like a Levi from Attack on Titan. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah. Give us like Mikasa. Could you imagine if they were animated? Like, how
Oh yeah,
into you
oh
are Attack
man,
on Titan?
like yeah. I mean, 3D Levi because oh my god, like the final episode of Attack on Titan, like I'm waiting
Oh
for
wait,
that.
I haven't seen it. I'm not caught up. Not caught up. I'm.
Oh no, oh you got to catch up. You got to catch up.
I
Oh,
should.
we've got the OG as well.
Luffy. Do you have Zoro?
One Piece is very huge. Oh, pop
Oh yeah.
quiz. Do you know who licensed One Piece in the West?
I don't.
Alfred Kahn.
I was gonna guess him. I was like, oh, it makes sense, but
Yeah.
wow. Oh
Al
my god.
himself. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's breadcrumbs for people.
it is. So there's been something I've been trying to, and I might ask David on Saturday when we're at the party. I wonder how they got Disney. My thesis right now is that they used Al Khan's old contacts to get certain either animes or certain like maybe like Nintendo or whatever, or Pokemon, and then they used that, like they leveraged that so they can get Disney. But that's just my theory. I have zero proof of that. What's your idea on how they got them?
Yeah. I'm very, very so they I believe they were in talks with Disney very, very early on.
Mhm.
I think it just took Disney some convincing. I believe the way they kind of went about it was they used Marvel as a kind of tester. So, one part of Disney.
Yeah,
Because Marvel's out of all their kind of, subsidiaries within Disney, Marvel seems to be the one that they license out the most. Because, the MCU stuff, like there's so much stuff with MCU branding, like probably more than anything else. So I guess they use that as a bit of a tester. And I suspect everything else was contingent on how well that did. And obviously Spider-Man did really, really well when it launched. So, they just rolled everything out, like Star Wars, like, the golden moments, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very certain they must have leveraged one of their contacts, because it's not too hard to like kind of get pitched in front of Disney. Surprisingly, I've known people to have been offered like projects with Disney, like using their IP to create things. And so Veve would be very similar. They're using their IP, Disney's IP, to create 3D statues. So yeah, in terms of like pitching and getting that stuff done, I don't think that was very hard for them. I do believe that because they've got a track record in this industry, that helped them massively, and Al Khan's position helped them. But I think ultimately what it came down to was, they delivered on what they said they would do. Like, they must have said that, this sale would do well for the NFTs of Spider-Man, and it did. And they just continued. And now the app is the Disney app.
Do you remember, I forget what day Spider-Man launched on. It was like a Friday or Saturday or something. And the market was closed. Like normally it was open, a few hours afterwards, but the market was closed for almost a full 24 hours.
Right. Yeah.
It was, it was like that day. And so it was basically a full 24 hours. And then like a couple of hours before the market were to open, there was a bunch of commons still left on there. And they started going like that. People started buying them, and they sold out right before the market opened. Is there any speculation? Is there any like rumors that's like, hey, maybe it was separate wallets that were controlled by Veve, or the people that were by Veve, like here's kind of does what China does, like China goes and they give their citizens money so their citizens could buy land in the U.S. Is there any? You think that there might be any hint of truth to that rumor that Veve's like, hey, people that work for us, here's like $3,000 each, go and buy everything off the market, or you think like, nah, it was just people probably just buying?
Yeah. I believe. Okay, so I never looked into it. Someone mentioned that they were burned. Not just someone, multiple people mentioned that. So I'm sure they must have heard it from somewhere.
Yeah.
I'd like to believe that Veve doesn't like kind of do that, because that's that's obviously very manipulative. But I don't think they need to do that. And the reason why I say they probably don't, they wouldn't do that is because they've had stuff in the store in the past which just sat there for months. Like the DC stuff that sat there for ages.
Yeah, like Mera and
And
Catwoman.
yeah, and they had the opportunity to do that back then, but they just didn't. They just let it sell naturally. So that leads me to believe that they wouldn't do it here either.
Yeah.
Most likely, if it wasn't taken off, to be burned, I believe it was genuine people just buying it. And I know there are people on Veve who definitely have enough money and would have had enough money at the time to just buy out what was left in the store.
Yeah.
I know Ray Fixie bought a lot. I know that there were other people who bought like hundreds. So I can see that, and there were groups of people buying it together as well. So I can certainly see makes sense.
Yeah. So what I'm hoping that happens, if there's no agreement yet, which I don't think there's any proof one way or the other, but what I'm hoping happens the same way Disney did this with Marvel is that Nintendo does this with Pokemon. They use their shares of Pokemon. I think they own like 33%, and they say, "Hey guys, you guys should go with VeVeVerse, and if you guys do well, if it happens, then Veve can get access to like Mario, Luigi, Wario, Toad, Yoshi, like everything." I think that'd be pretty cool. For a second, I thought there was someone that was about to sneak in your window, but then I realized it's a computer, it's a TV that's on in the background, and then
that's actually a reflection.
Yeah. So I was like, oh yeah. Yeah, and what's really weird was I probably shouldn't say it, but it's too funny. I thought it was a woman, I guess because of long hair and I can't see. But clearly, I was like, "Hey, there's a woman about to like go and shake you." But then I realized, oh wait, it's supposed to be like 4 a.m. over there. It's really dark out. Yeah. So there is. Yeah. So that's what I'm hoping they would do. That'd be great. Would you be more excited? And again, I know if you have one, you probably have the other. But what would you rather have on the app? Like just Pokemon, or and no rest of Nintendo, or no Pokemon and then all the rest of Nintendo?
That's a tough one. Okay, there's stuff in Nintendo that's really, really good. I would probably go with Pokemon. That rest of Nintendo, but it's a very, very tough one, right? Because I'm thinking to myself, like, if we basically had like essentially Super Smash Brothers but on Veve, like it's a very tough one because I really like Fire Emblem. I'm a big fan of Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem's great. I love that. I love those games.
Great. I really enjoyed like the Metroid games. Super Mario obviously is a big one. Yeah, it's so tough. I mean, Pokemon kind of falls under that Nintendo umbrella as well. Yeah.
Though you never see Pokemon in Mario Kart or Mario Party. I've been waiting for that forever. You see him in Super Smash Brothers because obviously you had him since the beginning, but yeah, that's something that I've been waiting for. So there is something that I've been kind of waiting on. Well, not necessarily this, but Jerry Clough just brought up a thing that there's this guy, Nate Chastain, who's a former OpenSea employee that had just gotten arrested for like insider trading. For like, I guess he bought stuff that was going to be listed on the marketplace or for OpenSea or wherever. What type of and again, I know this is more like a legal background. I don't know. I guess it's not really yours, but if there is something like on that we see in like an AMA or something that we hear in a talk that maybe nobody else is privy to, like let's say we're at DesignerCon or at wherever, DesignerCon London, is there a chance that like just it's like hearsay, you heard something and then you bought something? Is that considered like insider trading?
So it depends, right? Like if it was like genuine, like there was no intent, you just maybe something just slipped out, then it probably wouldn't be considered inside trading. It's like when there's genuine intent, of someone going out, seeking and disclosing information with the purpose of then, like buying and manipulating prices. Like it's one of those things where the intent has to be there. It has to be, unmistakably proven. Like you have to be able to genuinely prove that this person had intent. So in his case, yeah, clearly there must have been multiple cases, like chat logs, things like that. Like, yeah, that makes sense. Outside of that, if you just hear some information and you act on it, with that, the action, I guess, kind of is insider trading, but it's one of those things where I don't think you'd ever be prosecuted for it because you heard it passively. You didn't go out and seek that information, and there's no like logs or any evidence to show that you were conversing with someone about it. You had just overheard it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So like Elon must have been like accused of this. I'm sure, and because like he'll say like, oh, chairs are undervalued. Like obviously shares, and they're like, oh, okay. But yeah, intent is like the hardest thing to prove. But again, I've never really been privy to any info anywhere. There's like whether it's Tesla, Pokemon cards, or this. So just kind of asking like what we should, as common folk, look out for, if anything, to defend ourselves. But if that's it, if it's a
I think I think so when I used to work at Bloomberg, right, we had like there's something called MiFID 2. So Markets in Financial Instruments Directive, and it was an improvement from MiFID 1. And basically what it is it's a set of standards that all financial institutions have to follow. And it covers multiple different asset classes, like bonds, derivatives, things like that. And the trading process in a financial institution is actually very, very strict. Like you basically have to have like chat logs, which are automatically logged into like this vault, and it can never be tampered with. And everything is time-stamped, like literally everything, every action and someone does is time-stamped. There has to be like, like surveillance footage, like watching people. All communications have to be done through secure and encrypted networks that can be like, accessed by, management. All of this stuff has to be followed strictly. And that is because of insider trading and how prevalent it was becoming. So MiFID 2 came in to like kind of control a lot of this. And inside, they set up something inside investment banks, because this was most common in investment banks. So they have something called the buy side and the sell side of investment banks. So the buy side, they buy equity. The sell side, they sell equity. And oftentimes, even in the same firm, the two sides aren't allowed to talk to they're not supposed to talk to each other. But obviously, because, you could be working on a buy side, I could be working on a sell side, we could end up, let's go get a drink, chat about work. I tell you something that you shouldn't have heard, etc. So they have this concept in investment banking called the Chinese wall. And what the Chinese wall is it's like a physical as well as a metaphorical barrier between the two sides of the investment bank. So oftentimes, if you were to go to, I don't know, like JPM, right? All of your buy side trading floors would be maybe at the top of the building, and then the sell side would be at the bottom of the building. So you've got like this physical divide. But then also, you can meet up with people in the company, they can't do anything about that. But you have like you have a expected duty to not discuss, anything to do with, work kind of thing with the other people within, these other departments. So yeah, like there's a lot of kind of precautions in place to prevent insider trading. But at the end of the day, hypothetically, if we're both, in an investment bank on two separate sides, and we go out for a drink and I tell you something, just word of mouth, it's not recorded anywhere.
Yeah.
It's very, very hard for them to track or prove that.
So if I say like I have the Randy Chavez company is coming out with a dashy NFT and it's not doing so hot, but then it'd be like I get drunk at a party in London one day, we're at a pub, and like, hey Kay, you should buy like 8 of these because I'm gonna come out with some great utility. Like that's not insider trading, is it? Once it goes to the roof.
Yeah, I mean that would technically. So if this isn't an investment bank, that would be insider trading. But in that case, I don't think they would be able to do anything because that's very hard to prove. So with MiFID II, because everything is tracked and logged within the company, if you were to message me that, then they could find that and they could see the timestamps and they could correlate the timestamps to when I placed the buy orders for the the Randy Chavez NFTs.
Yeah. All
of that stuff, they would have like a trail, an audit trail. And from that, they could make a reasonable case that you were insider trading, you're going to jail. Like,
damn, these guys go hardcore.
You have to have that information there. It's part of compliance. But if they don't, they can't prosecute you. It's very like there's no evidence.
It's so crazy to think how like it's still. I mean, obviously you have that for like investment bankers or people that have like bank charters, which is like so hard to get. But NFTs, I feel like is such a gray area still. Like how much is, like I don't know like how many laws are written against it yet. Like if there was I wanted to do this, I couldn't do it with Pokemon because I didn't have like a Series 7 or 67 license. Where I wanted to be like, okay, like an advisor to be like, hey, give me some funds and I'll buy some Pokemon cards for you. Do you see companies doing that with NFTs? Be like, hey, give me all of your base belong to me. Give me all your funds and I'll buy NFTs for you. And then
okay, that's a very good topic. So that has already started. So for those who don't know, the CPF in Singapore, so that's like the main umbrella for pensions. And for those who maybe don't know what pensions are, in the US, you guys call it 401ks. You have a fund manager. They manage your funds. They invest it for you. They give you a return on your investment, and that's your money for retirement. Oh, what's up, Zachary? So love me something. Yeah. So basically, the CPF, they have taxpayers, well, not taxpayers technically, but public money, right? That gets contributed to this kind of centralized system. And Cavell, yeah. So basically, this centralized system is basically funds that are pulled together from all the workers that contribute. And then these fund managers will take that money and they'll invest it and they'll make a return on that investment. And then that money is like your retirement, your safety net. Now, what kind of stuff do they invest in? 90% of the stuff they invest in are index funds because it's safe. They don't want to gamble with your money. That's cool. Then they'll kind of go into like kind of high yield bonds as well, which are also relatively safe. Like, it's very hard for a government to go bankrupt. And if it's a high yield bond that's above interest, then you're making money. It's cool. So they'll kind of, diversify, split up. However, last week, the CPF published a advertisement, and the advertisement was about investing. And within there, it meant it had different asset classes, and they were talking about diversifying your investments. And it talked about, stocks, bonds, ETFs, like the typical stuff that they invest in. However, for the first time ever, they mentioned NFTs. So the main kind of investment funds in Singapore, they're talking about NFTs as an asset class for investing into. So that was the first thing. The second thing is David Yu himself in an AMA said a fund in coincidentally Singapore came to Veve with $1 billion looking to purchase NFTs as a form of investment.
So out of that $1 billion, how much percent of that do you think would go in? Or was the $1 billion the percent that they were willing to spend?
I suspect they went into Veve. They definitely bought stuff. What percent of that $1 billion did they spend? I suspect maximum 1%. Maximum.
Okay.
Probably less than that, maybe like 0.2%.
Which is still like 10 million, which is a nice amount.
Yeah, respectable. I mean, yeah, they're never gonna go ham. Like, they're gonna hedge their risk, especially something that was as early as Veve at the time, because this when they went in, this was like a year ago. This was more than a year ago, actually. It was more than a year ago, I remember. So that was one private fund that came. However, since then, now we know that public funds are investing into NFTs. What kind of NFTs they're going to go into? I suspect they're going to probably emulate what some of these private funds are doing. And this is the thing. A lot of people dislike Veve because they say it's, too kind of corporate driven, it's too centralized, etc., etc. But that's what you need if you want people managing public money to invest safely. Because they're not going to go into something where they can't audit it. There's no track record. There's no financial statements. There's no, there's nothing. Like,
somebody clip that, because that's like the most important thing that I think I could have ever said. That would be on the stream, that you can't get mass adoption. You can't get these big funds going in if we're not centralized. That was great.
It has to, at the very, it has to be a hybrid model, right? Like, okay, you should have the freedom to move NFTs off the app. That's cool. That's fine. Hero allows that as well. However, with the accounts, there needs to be a way of like auditing the money going in and the money going out, because obviously you don't want money laundering on your platform. There needs to be a way of seeing who that money is going to. So KYC needs to exist. It can't be fully anonymous. Otherwise, you're never going to get that big institutional money coming in. It has to be a hybrid approach, but the benefits far outweigh the inconvenience of KYCing or doing this stuff. Like, far outweigh it. Like, it only takes one fund, just one, to 10x the market cap of Veve. Like, easy. So when people see a fund like Grayscale come into Veve, for example, and they put in a little bit of liquidity, the whole market's just going to rocket off. And at that point, people are going to be like, oh wow, Veve wasn't a scam, etc., etc. It took Grayscale to come in and pump up Bitcoin for people to start chasing Bitcoin again. Because I remember when Bitcoin kind of pumped up to about $14,000, and it came all the way back down to $2,000. And people were like saying, oh, it was a scam, it was a bubble, tulip fever, blah blah blah. And then a couple of funds, including Grayscale, come in. That thing went 2K, 4K, 8K, kind of skipped 10K, just went straight to like 15K, and then then it was like 20K. And I was
Daddy Michael Saylor though.
yeah, Michael Saylor as well. Like, all of this happened really fast, and it was like, damn, like all you guys that were calling Bitcoin a scam, like, you're buying Bitcoin at 20K now.
That's I'd love to get. I don't think I have. I mean, I had some in 2017 that I bought, like, not at the top, but pretty close to the top. I bought it like in America. I think it went up to like 17, 18K. I bought a little at like 12, then a little more at 14. I was like, it's going to the moon. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, I see where this is going. And then I sold around 10, thankfully, and then it got down to like 3,500, whatever. It's like, oh. But yeah, if I just would have kept it, and then it'll be like, oh, that would have been nice. Although we might go down there again. We might go down to like 20K or 18K. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, where Bitcoin might go?
Yeah, I think the bottom for Bitcoin is going to be, I'm going to call it at 22, because lower than that 20K, at that point, it costs more to mine a Bitcoin than it is for the cost of a Bitcoin at that point. So I don't
Wait, really?
see that being too feasible.
Oh, wait, so it would cost more to mine than it would be to.
Yeah. In terms of like
Oh
how
man.
much is spent mining the Bitcoin,
Yeah.
like in terms of dollar value, like for the energy and everything, the work put in. I believe it's around about $21,000 to mine one Bitcoin right now.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's going to be costing more. So then people are going to be disincentivized. The network gets congested, etc., etc. And people, they're like, oh, the fees are too high, and they stop using it.
Yeah, and the miners just wouldn't sell. Miners be like, okay, we're just gonna mine these, and yeah. Oh,
Yeah. So
that'll bottleneck
I
that
think
real good.
22K, that's still very low. Like that is still
Yeah.
really low.
Well, we got down to
Yeah,
like 25.
22K, I think it can come down to there.
Yeah. Well, we got down to like 25, right? 25K
I
at one
think
point.
recently we got down as low as 27, I think.
Oh, okay.
27
We
was,
didn't go down
yeah,
that low then. Okay, so
it was the
27,
bottom.
and
27 was the recent
and
bottom.
we went up to like 31, and now I don't know what we're at to now.
We're
I
at
gotta check
29
that.
now, I think. Yeah, I think
Oh,
29.
okay. All right. Yeah, I kind of wish, like, if we're gonna get there, I kind of wish we'd just get there already, so we could hit the bottom and start going up.
Yeah, I've still got one more withdrawal coming in, so I'm hoping bringing my withdrawal, let the crypto market dump. I'm buying some OMI. I'm gonna get to 50 mil OMI finally.
Okay, so there's something that I've been thinking of. The team has said that VeVe is going to be a small part of their overall plan. Now, obviously, the VeVeVerse, if it wasn't clear before, is just going to be a completely separate company just because of the heck hole that New Zealand is with their laws and their. It's like they don't want people to like.
It's a separate entity. They've already filed for it as a separate thing.
So, with that being said, do you think that the VeVeVerse or Comey, like, or Orbis, whatever parent company is going to be, would buy Veve and just put it under their belt and just be like, okay, well, now you're a Singaporean company or whatever. Do you think that would happen? And what do you think the market cap of whatever owns Veve and VeVeVerse would be? Again, whether it be a Comey, Orbis, or what have you.
I mean, all of these like child entities, they're all under Orbis anyway.
Yeah.
But the benefit of them having it as a separate entity is it all comes down to shareholding structures, right? Because Ecomi has a very complex shareholding structure. Like, I don't want to get into that. Like, so many people have different stakes in the company.
Yeah.
Like Venkatesh, he's a shareholder of Ecomi as well, and he knows other people who got in. And a lot of these people, they don't really play like an active part in Ecomi anymore, but they got in very early and they helped fund it, so they're still around. Veve, probably, I believe, is a lot cleaner in terms of its kind of equity. The benefit of having VeVeVerse as a separate entity goes back to the point of development and delivery, because if they have a separate shareholding structure, what they could choose to do, which I think is what they will do, is they'll go at the whole VeVeVerse idea as a joint venture with a gaming studio or a gaming studio partner. And for them, there's some benefits there. The main benefit is, rather than trying to hire people themselves, construct this team themselves, it's very, very difficult, like really difficult. But if they have a company that's reputable in this industry, I'll throw out some names like Ubisoft. Ubisoft is experimenting with NFTs. Let's say they partner with Ubisoft. Ubisoft has a team of game devs who are already used to working with each other. They know how to deliver stuff. They're well versed in this kind of thing. And let's say they take like 50% of the VeVeVerse, right? So it's a proper joint venture. Orbis owns the other 50%. They can do this kind of thing in, get an early version out within a year, right? If Veve had to then go hire people on their own, the average time to hire a very competent engineer is around about 6 months now. Like,
oh wow,
the recruitment is very difficult in this space because there just aren't very many people in Web3 who are competent and at the level to like take ownership of projects.
Yeah.
So if they kind of go at it that way, it's like they will save themselves money and time, but they're going to be able to deliver a much nicer product. And that's the same model that Hero has. So Hero, they provide the IP. They have a partner called Collects that does all the tech side. And that's really good for them because the tech side can just focus on the tech, whilst Hero just focuses on the IP. So Veve, they can have like, the Orbis, Veve side just focusing on, partnerships, etc., a new IP. And then they have Ubisoft, for example, just building out the tech. They can deliver a really cool metaverse experience in a reasonable time frame. And I believe that's going to deliver more value for, users as well.
So Reese had said on Akil Patterson's podcast that, Akil had asked him, hey, what are you guys like kind of doing with your funds? What do you guys like, what do you guys pay for? And it's like, okay, well, we pay for devs and we pay for licensors, we pay for this, we pay for the VeVeVerse. And I thought with him separating those two, paying for devs and paying for VeVeVerse, that they are hiring or they have had a third-party company build their VeVeVerse. Yeah. And I've been trying to rack my brain to think about, like, it wouldn't be too big of a company. Like, I don't think it would be like Activision, Blizzard, like that was bought by Microsoft. But like, I don't think it would be like any crazy company. I would thinking that it would be like a Capcom or a Square Enix or like an Ubisoft that's worth, a couple $1 billion. Like, I think Ubisoft's worth more, like 7. But what are your thoughts on the people or whatever company that they're working with? If it's small enough, would they buy? Do you think they would buy another company like that? Is like, okay, you're ours now. Like that TikTok, you're coming home with me.
Yeah, I don't think they would buy the company. Because I don't know what. I don't think they would buy anyone immediately or anything like that. Yeah, because as far as I'm aware, the studios that they currently work with, they don't own them either. They outsource them because these studios obviously work with other clients as well. So I suspect it'll be similar. In terms of which studios, I would imagine something on the higher end would probably be like the Ubisoft kind of size.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be one that some people know, but yeah, I don't think they would go out and buy a studio. I think it will be outsourced. Is my guess. We would like a shared equity structure as well.
Yeah. The MBZ that'll VeVeVerse will happen within a year. Now that's not going to be the Ready Player One. That's going to happen within a year. That might take 10 years or longer. But the actual VeVeVerse that'll happen within a year. I think it was probably supposed to be this year, but I don't know if that's happening anymore with recession delays and stuff. But we'll see. So Cavell said that he was talking about Akomi and the Omi token together. So that I think he's kind of underselling it there because if his $10 Omi price is to be achieved, either the company would need to burn like 200 billion Omi, so we have 100 billion left. Then a $10 Omi would be $1 trillion market cap for Omi. And which I do think, that listed as a metaverse token, and obviously not happening soon, but maybe not even, this next bull cycle in 2024, 2025, maybe the next one in like 2028, 2029 or whatever. What are your thoughts long term on, I guess, the metaverse at large? Like some might call me like cockeyed optimist, saying like, I think trillions are going to go into the metaverse, not just VVs, just metaverses at large. What is your thoughts on that? Do you think like their technology won't be cheap enough at the time for everybody to have, Apple glasses or Google glasses, and there won't be enough mass adoption? Or do you think like, oh, he might be onto something?
Yeah. it ultimately, like, part of the reason why Veve does so well is versus other NFT platforms is it's a mobile-based platform, right? And globally, mobile is way more accessible than anything else. A lot of people don't actually own desktops or laptops, but they own a mobile. And especially in third world countries or developing countries, people own mobiles. So Veve hit the nail on the head in terms of accessibility. So this goes to my point, and I've had this discussion with Trevor as well, is VR applications tend not to do very well because the VR equipment is not accessible to many people. Facebook, as of recently, have started to change that. When they when they purchased Oculus, so Facebook, well, Meta, as they got rebranded, Meta now owns Oculus. And so now they even call it the Meta Quest now, not the Oculus Quest.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, that's the name of it now, Meta Quest. Yeah. So if you own a Meta Quest, like now, like, yeah, it's not too expensive, relatively speaking. Still quite a bit, but it's not too expensive. It's, fairly accessible, it's portable, etc. But if you went back 5 years in time, it was way more expensive. You had to be like tethered to your PC. It wasn't like very portable. Like it wasn't commercialized to the extent that it is now. And even now, it's still not that commercialized. Like it's still in development. So until we get to a point where, and these are headsets still, they're technically not smart wearables in the sense that we imagine it, like glasses that you put on, right? The Meta Quest is an actual headset. It's not like a set of glasses, but we are actually seeing more and more kind of, glasses or glasses attachments, that kind of thing now. So proper smart wearables. Until that stuff becomes super, super commercialized, I suspect Apple, Google, or Meta, one of those three companies is going to do it. When that's fully commercialized and super accessible, then I believe Veve's whole concept of 3D collectibles with wearables and Metaverse and augmented like mixed reality, all of that stuff will make a lot more sense. Until that happens, it's more of a novelty kind of thing, only reserved for like a very rich niche group of people. And even then, I don't think Veve is going to implement that stuff until it is more commercialized anyway, because who's going to use it if it's barely anyone can use it?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So another thing, there's like someone like Taps is pretty well diversified. He's got a lot of different things. I mean, he could probably name like 6 or 7 different things. Oh yeah, I got a bunch of this, a bunch of that. Akil Patterson said he's only got 3 things. He's got OMI, Ethereum, and Immutable X. Cavell says that the guy that he had on, God's Trades, said that Ethereum's going sub 1,000. If Ethereum goes sub 1,000, are you going to be like, heck, OMI, and you're just going to put the rest of your funds in Ethereum? Because I think that's a little ridiculous, sub 1,000. I don't think that would happen, but if it does.
There was that one time I remember, because I remember now. I was when was it? Can't remember the exact year. I think it was during that year when I was still working at Bloomberg. But I remember when ETH just came down so ridiculously low. Like it used to be it was over $1,000, and it came down all the way down to like $100. Like the market went stupid red. Like it was like dipping. It dipped 30%, and then it dipped 30% again, and then it dipped another 30%. And I was like, man, ETH is at $100, and I bought like 20 ETH, for $100 each. That was pretty damn good. That was $2,000. And yeah, then I sold my ETH when it was $200. So I was like, oh, I doubled my money, and then ETH rocketed off to like $2,000, and I was like, man, should have held it. But you can't predict that kind of stuff. But yeah, I was like, I think it can happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible. Unlikely, but it is possible. I think most likely we'll probably see kind of like the mid to lower part of 1,000, like 1.3K, 1.2K. Maybe it is possible to get to 1,000. Could happen.
That'd be nuts. Also, if Ethereum, let's say, at 1,000, let's say that goes to, that goes to 10K. Okay, 10x your money. But if Ethereum goes to 1,000, let's say Omi's at 0.001. Let's say it doesn't go to 3 zeros, then it goes, okay, well, a penny, not even all-time high, is at there. That's a 10x, and I expect us to be so far ahead of that when everything starts rolling.
I would just buy so much Omi,
Yeah.
as much. I would see if I'm allowed to use credit cards to buy crypto.
Yeah.
I would rinse my credit card. I would apply for a loan, actually. I would go that far.
Yeah.
It's a bit risky. Would not recommend it to anyone unless you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
As in you're ready to take a loss if you have to. But yeah, I would just buy so much Omi, and then after I've bought it, I would stake it, and then I'll come back to it whenever I want to come back to it.
Yeah. No, same. That's so the thing is with a loan, I would, just because you don't know exactly when you don't know when that'll go up. It will at some point. So I would let's say I get I don't know, $50,000. I'd be like, okay, well, I'll put 40 of it into Omi, and then I'll keep the other 10 just to make the payments on it until that goes up. Because that's stupid low.
Has the Omi price been going up?
Omi?
Yeah, because
it went up 10% the other day, but
okay.
But I think it's gone down since.
My staking account, and it looks like the dollar amount of Omi that I have has gone up, but it's gone up way more than what I would have gotten from staking. I've got my accumulative yield so far for staking is 110,800 Omi. That's how much Omi I've gotten from staking.
Yeah,
not bad. That's like one tenth of a million.
Yeah. I've got it looks like it's up 7% in the last 24 hours. So good stuff. It was down to 0.0015 as of a few hours ago, and now it's up to 0.00167. So pretty legit.
Oh yeah, no wonder. Okay, yeah, that's a 10% increase from.
Yeah, we still have a bunch of buy because normally you see this red bar, and the red bar is usually at 30 million for sell, but it's not. They just switched it from there, and they put it over yonder, put it over there, used it for the buy. They must like it so yeah. That what do you think is the biggest catalyst for Omi at this point? Or do you think it doesn't matter because it doesn't matter what comes, or in a bear market?
Short-term catalyst when the restricted people get their accounts back. I think that would definitely help, because these people obviously have a lot of liquidity. Mid to longer term, Omi to NFT is the biggest catalyst, because then we get direct circulating supply burn. And then probably a bit more longer term would be top tier exchanges Coinbase level. That would be putting Omi out there in front of people's faces. That's probably the way I see it.
Yeah. So as far as I've been comparing Omi to the market, it's outperforming Bitcoin, or it's outperforming the Nasdaq or whatever. And in the markets over the last, I think, 2 months, we've had, I think, 7 of the worst days in the markets over the last 5 years. In the last 2 months, we've had 7 of the worst trading days that the market's seen in the last 5 years. So I don't know how much worse this can get. I guess it could always get worse, but what's the cows that you see us getting out of this? Do you think? I think Russia's a big one. If they stop their war of aggression, then I think it gets a little easier.
I think if it just takes like one big political announcement. You
Yeah.
know, if China comes out and decides to become crypto friendly again, yeah, the markets would pump. You know, if some big nation out there decided to adopt crypto in some way, yeah, the markets would pump. If a big company, like we saw how much of an effect it had on crypto when Elon Musk said that Tesla would accept Bitcoin, that had a huge pump.
Yeah.
So if Apple or some big company, Facebook, I don't know, they came up and started adopting crypto, I think that would have a big pump. At this point, it just comes down to anything that can just improve sentiment.
Yeah.
I don't think there can be anything more done technologically, apart from like just improving sentiment. From the ETH side, you know, whenever ETH 2.0 comes out, that will definitely improve sentiment on that.
Okay, gotcha. The so Kyle was saying that it says this is the first time crypto market has been through a stocks bear market, recession, inflation. Like he says, it's uncharted territory and it could get bad. It says the GA side, triple death or some ish where ETH always tanks right after or something. I can't make heads or tails of that last comment, but triple death cross.
I think maybe he means a death cross.
Yeah, I think triple death cross is probably what he meant. Yeah, it's
triple death or some shit.
I love crypto so much. Oh, Kathy Wood says inflation has peaked. I really love her. Do you follow her?
Yeah. I followed her mainly because of how bullish she was on Tesla, and I already told you, you know, like I was all in on Tesla.
Oh, she is bae. She is like 60 something. I don't care. I would. Oof, Kathy, take me now.
Yeah.
Did you?
I was following ARK as well. ARK investment, like
Yeah.
quite heavy as well.
Yeah, that whole team is just amazing. Tasha, Karen, yeah, that whole team is great. I love them. So let's say, you know, wind the clocks forward a couple years. We're in bull market. You know, we're at 30 cents. What is your course of action? Do you continue working where you're working? You just be like, nah, fam, I'm gonna take like my $12 million and I'm gonna go retire on an island. Do you do like a passion project?
Yeah. For me, it would be a mix of passion project and, you know, getting like bucket list stuff checked off. Like a lot of traveling, I would say, like passion project mixed with traveling, because, like, you know, I was thinking, and a lot of people who are quite, you know, like quite into their old age, they always say this, right? It's like you can always like accumulate money, like you can keep accumulating money, but you can't accumulate more time. That's the one thing that you can't make more of. It's every second is like it's a depreciating asset. So you want to make use of that. And so, you know, like things that you want to do when you're still, you know, in good enough health to do it easily, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, I would want to definitely like travel, explore different like, you know, cultures and things, and kind of work on things that I'm like passionate about, not necessarily something that I'm doing it just to survive.
Yeah.
I mean that's kind of like the main motivation for me to invest anyway. It's like financial freedom.
My friend Ty said if he were to ever like win the lotto and make like a lot of money, that he would make this insane game like an insane MMORPG, but for Pokemon, and he would like bring it to like the Nintendo company and be like, guys, this is what you're doing. What do you think a game like that would make? Like a World of Warcraft, League of Legends type of game, MMORPG of Pokemon would probably be like the biggest thing ever. But
I mean, Pokemon and League of Legends sounds like you're talking about Pokemon Unite.
I played a couple, like I don't know, that I didn't really get too excited about that. What about you? Like, do you like it?
So if you like those type of games, then you like it regardless of if you like Pokemon or not.
Yeah.
Like, and again, it's a mobile-based game, so it's highly accessible as well. But just having Pokemon attached to it, like that, automatically makes it, like
it's a good point.
Pretty top tier level. I did play it. I couldn't like properly get into it. It's the type of game where I think maybe Cavell would probably like be able to give a good review of, because Cavell, I know he plays these kind of games like Mobile Legends, and it's basically Mobile Legends but Pokemon themed. Yeah. So there's a group of people out there who love like these kind of tower defense, mobile battler kind of games.
Did you see the new Pokemon trailer that they released this morning?
Oh yeah, I watched it. Yeah, I showed it to my girlfriend, and I asked her because I always ask her the names of things.
Yeah. Does she like the pig? Does she like the chunk?
Yeah. I showed her. I'm like, what is this? And then she's like, it's a cat. It's a duck with Elvis Presley's hair, and it's an apple.
Oh, that's great. I saw a video of this granddaughter who wasn't like young. She was, I don't know, she was like 20 or whatever, asking her grandma like, what Pokemon, what name do you think this is? And it's a Charmander, and she looks at it, it's like Hamilton, and it's just I don't know. Some people describing things that they have no idea what it is like some of the funniest things. I love that.
Have you ever seen like I know in some of Cavell's older videos, when he doesn't know the names of something, like he has like the funniest names for stuff. Like they had the when we had the golden moments.
Yeah.
We had the Cheshire Cat, right? Like in a Disney
from Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, the Cheshire Cat, yeah. And Cavell was in the video, and he was speculating because there was a statue of the Cheshire Cat, so he thought we were going to get that as a golden moment. And then Cavell was like, "I know this cat. This is Aristocat." I was just laughing. It was funny.
So I love the Aristocat movie. Have you ever seen the movie Aristocrats?
No, I haven't. No.
That is like the funny, like, all right, so it involves like comedians that they all know this one joke. And the one joke, like, it starts off as like, oh, it's this family and they're sitting down to have dinner. That's like high tea, everyone's like, their pinkies extended to show, like, put on the airs. And then like the most insane, like, regular show Rick and Morty stuff type of things happen. Like, there's a pig that's going to the bathroom on the wall. There's like someone rigged grenades to their doll and explode. And what's the name of the family? It's called like Aristocrats. And so and each comedian tells it really differently, and it gets really raunchy. It gets really dirty. It's amazing. Everyone that's above 18 should watch it. It's great. He doesn't speculate. He predicts the future. Why? So yeah, why is Omi moving now? Moving because you have like 13 billion Omi locked up and they're staking. Or is it just a random? It's Wednesday.
It's a random movement because if you look at the 24-hour trading volume on Ascendex, for example,
it's horrible.
Yeah, it's about $180,000 for the past 24 hours, which is nothing. $180,000. Dr. Profit spends more than that on like one shopping spree. So, a small amount of liquidity can move the Omi price by 10% fairly easily. So if anything, I think it's just maybe one or two people decided to buy a small bag of Omi, and it pushed the price up by like 10%.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's very, very easy for Omi price to be manipulated because of just how illiquid it is right now. But I think those who are accumulating now, they're gonna be sitting well, like later down this year.
Yeah, 100%. So there's something I haven't. So there's what I haven't talked. So there's these So one whale took me out to dinner end of April, and he's I don't want to say too much about him, but he's like, listen, I have these friends out in the Midwest, and we all really like you. I was like, oh, well, thank you. And then he's like, if you had like an extra like $400,000 or something like right now, what would you do? It's like, well, I think I'd pay the rest of my taxes. And I said like, no, like really, like I was like, okay, like if it were like, and I knew he was asking about him. He's like, oh, asking for a friend. I knew he was asking about him. So I was like, listen. So conservatively, I'd be like, I would put like 60% of that into OMI, maybe like 25% into Ethereum and 15% into Bitcoin, and but like if it was really me, I'd put like 85% into OMI, and the rest I would just keep just for a rainy day. So he messaged me, and he already had more OMI than I did at that time, and then like we were like going back and forth for a little while, and then he messaged me like 2 days ago. He's got just over 200 million OMI now. I was like, oh my god. So there's a lot of these newer whales that are coming in, and I met some of his friends when I went to VCon. One of them's coming on the podcast tomorrow. Great. And he's and these like, so this one person, and I'll talk with him about it tomorrow, but swept up a bunch of Grails. I didn't go crazy, not like 10 of each, just one of each, and is looking at getting more OMI. So yeah, there's always new money coming in, and again, new money can come just from one person. Like it's nuts how much people can buy. Any in your travels, have you met any like secret whales that is like, oh, I'm actually I got like 80 or 100 something million, but like don't tell anyone?
Yeah, I mean a lot of the people that I've met that are very chunky whales, I think pretty much all of them as well. Yeah, who else? I know. Venkatesh. He had a fair chunk of OMI at one point as well.
Yeah.
As you would if you're like the first investor in the project. Yeah. No, not too many. I mean, that's the thing is, in terms of number of wallets, there actually are not that many people who have OMI because
super
it's just
small amount.
unknown. Yeah, like not that many people know of OMI. So all of the wealthiest people is like even myself, I'm nearly in the top 100 of OMI holders, which is amazing because I don't think I have that much. But that just goes to show that.
Wait, so you're in the top 100?
Sorry?
You're in the top 100?
I'll be in the top 100, hopefully, once I get my withdrawal in.
Okay, so I'm in the top 100 still. I'm still in the.
You're definitely in top 100. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
You only need 43 million OMI to be in the top 100.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I hope I get kicked out.
Top 100 isn't that hard to break, but like top 20 is very hard to break.
What's the top 20 like?
You're probably going to need to grab like 1 billion or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got to be really insane.
Yeah.
So I mean, I really hope I get kicked out of that top 100 because in order for me to get kicked out, other people have to have more. And I feel like now, especially as OMI's down to these like dirt low levels, it's not as hard. Like if I had the money I had last year and buy in right now, I'd have like 400 million OMI. It would be like, oh, that'd be nuts. I do know somebody else though, not that other dude that just put in like the last like 100,000 that he had like into OMI. I was like, oh my god. So it's multiple people that are going, and again, that person knew that this could go to 3 zeros. That person knew that this could, I probably wouldn't be cut in half, but things can get worse before they get better. And he's like, I don't care. Like, you've spelt it out. Like you told me like what's going to happen eventually, even if it doesn't happen in the next couple months, happen eventually, bird in the hand. I was like, okay, cool. I dig it. Yeah, very excited. Very pumped about it.
Yeah, definitely.
So what was the last video you did that you touched on?
I touched on. I need to go back and check what it was. Yeah, I don't quite remember now actually.
Okay, it was. Oh wow! So
Actually,
you
it might have been discussing Omi Calculus. Actually, I think
okay? So yeah, you had a stream which was the Warner Bros. Multiverse. Did you play that?
Oh yes, yeah. I streamed that as well. Yeah.
Oh
That's
yeah,
actually
how was that?
quite a fun game. Yeah. I played it with like some VV community people. Um, yeah, it gives you a nice like kind of feel of like what we could experience in the VeVeVerse Omi to KFC. Yeah. Yeah, it is actually fun. It's an enjoyable game.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they've got a good roster of characters. I really like Arya Stark.
I
She's one of
love
my
her.
favorite characters. They made Shaggy freaking OP as hell. Like
Well,
he actually goes
he's
Super
got God
Saiyan.
mode. Shaggy's
Yeah,
got God
he's
mode.
got Super Saiyan. He's got Ultra Instinct. Like yeah, I don't even know like how that happens, but yeah, he's got Ultra Instinct.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn, I think, is like the most broken character in the game right now.
Nice.
Like she's highest in terms of like the unofficial tier ranking.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the team match modes are good. You can like pair up with someone, go against two other people, like, and that's quite enjoyable. Because I used to play a lot of Super Smash Brothers. It's
Yeah,
very
same.
similar to Super Smash Bros. Yeah.
Cool. So there you used to play collect Yu-Gi-Oh cards as well, right?
Yeah.
So there was recently a card that just got unbanned like a couple weeks ago. It was banned for like 18 years. It was like this little bird. I forget what it was
Oh,
called.
Yamato.
I don't remember 100% what it was
Yamato
called.
something.
Yeah. So it was
something Gucci.
yeah. So I'm just scrolling through TikTok the other day, and I see
Yeah.
this Jack Black dude, and he's just and the text reads like, when you have something that's been illegal and it suddenly becomes unillegal, and then he goes into his closet, brings out this like gun case. I was like, oh damn, is our like bump stocks back? Like what's going on? And then he brings out this Yu-Gi-Oh card, and then I was like, oh whoa. And then I Google it, and I don't even remember it. I remember because there's so many banned cards on the list, but yeah, apparently it was broken AF. As soon as you get it, it allows you to make the other person to not draw. So if you attack with that card and you don't have some
So
defense
there
mode,
was what is it? It was banned because you could cause a draw lock. So they would have nothing in their hands, and then they wouldn't be able to draw. So then it's back to your turn, and you would attack again, and then it would be their turn, and they can't draw, and then you attack again. It's basically a lock, and then you automatically win that way. Yeah, and then they put it on the ban list.
good times.
Yeah, no, Yu-Gi-Oh matches are fun. It's probably one of my favorite ones in terms of artwork. The Mystic Swordsman L6.
Oh, nice. What would you do? So I don't know what you like better or what you like, or it's like okay, all right, so Charizard or Blue Eyes White Dragon?
Oh, that's a good question. I would probably lean towards Charizard, probably.
Okay, Pikachu or Dark Magician?
Oh, Pikachu.
Okay, all right. So Naruto or Ash?
Oh, probably Naruto.
Yeah.
I'm not like a fan of Ash. I'm a fan of the Pokemon, but I'm not a fan of the Pokemon trainer.
Oh, have you seen the Pokemon series recently?
I need to watch the new film, the what is it, the Battle 8 thing that they have.
Oh, I haven't seen the new film. I mean, like the series though is like
the new film I've been told is very good. So
dude,
like,
Ash is so good now. Like Ash used to suck back in the day. Like when we were kids, Ash was just a horrible trainer. Like forgetting that rocks don't conduct electricity. And but now he's got major strategy. He's got he's in like the top. Like they have this new thing called like the Super Trainers Tournament or something, where they take like the top 8 trainers like ever, and like Cynthia's there, and like all these like Leon's there, and then Ash is there. I was like, what? He's in the top 8 now? Like this is insane. This is tense.
Exactly. I have this card, and I had it on the side, and I recall this card used to be used in part of one of those like infinite locks. I don't know if you remember.
I don't remember using that one.
Tsukuyomi. This one flips a card face down, and I remember there used to be a lock strategy using this. Like you flip a certain card face down, then you flip it back up and it activates the flip effect. And that flip effect did something that could lock your opponent. But I can't remember what it was.
That's why. Nice. I don't know if you saw Foster Hill's video the other day where he went over like, hey, if Omi stays down here, if it doesn't go down any further.
Oh, end of the year is burned, yeah.
Yeah. What at that point, if New Zealand doesn't give them the okay to, like do any buybacks, which, I wasn't really expecting anyway, but if they don't have like Omi to NFT, or they don't have any way to replenish that, what do they do at that point?
I mean, that's going to be a tricky situation because if anything, you're going to have probably the most FUD we've ever seen. Because at that point, it's like people are like, "You lied to us. All of this burning didn't do anything." Like, what do we do there? It's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they could do. Like that would be a very tricky situation.
Oh, I mean, I'd welcome the FUD. Let it go down to 0.0007 or 5, and then like we'll buy it all. So like, oh god, it's a kidney.
Do you remember this?
Yes, that is like one of my little favorite dudes, just because of the show where he had like another card that multiplied it. Yeah, and he just had like a giant field of things, and they regenerated fast and they get destroyed.
Yeah, no, that was hilarious.
Yeah,
I find it funny how in the show they used to just completely ignore the card's effects and just make up effects as they went along. It's like that card doesn't do that; just made it up.
That was such a good show. I only saw like the first couple seasons. Duelist Kingdom was really good. Kaiba was just like so. I don't know why, but Kaiba's computer, I forget what he called her. It was like Karen or something. Like she was like British, and she was like, I don't know why. I just really, really liked her. I just really, really liked that. I wish there was more of Kaiba's supercomputer where he's hacking and like he puts dynamite in front of like, hey, hack through this, and he puts dynamite in front of his door. Gets to Pegasus's castle.
Oh yeah, I remember.
I always wanted like a secret lair like that, to go like in the middle of the woods, pull a chain up, and then suddenly it's stairs that leads down to the secret lair. Oh, what a badass.
No, that would be cool.
Yeah, I had a little crush on him. Ash is like, he's like Aang in that aspect. He masters elements or Pokemon pretty quickly. He does that. Yeah, I would love to get some Avatar on here.
I mean, this card was banned for a while, and then they restricted it to 1 per deck.
I think I do remember that.
Yeah. So this one was banned for a while, but then there was a version that wasn't banned called DD Assailant.
Or maybe that's the one I remember. There's so many good. There's so many broken ones. Like, you remember Enchanted Javelin?
Oh, yes.
It just takes 1,000 life points right out the gate. It's like, oh man, super savage AF.
This is one of my favorites for artwork.
Is that? Oh wait, that's not Dark Magician. That is Dark Magician of Chaos.
Yeah.
Cool. There's I never really collected any of the graded stuff. I think because I don't know if she was Dark Magician Girl really like playable? Was she really something that like?
No, not really playable. She was more of just a popular card, just a popular character.
Yeah, because I remember her like when I was in Pokemon, I would check it out every now and then, Toon Blue Eyes White Dragon or whatever. But she was the one that kind of, I remember seeing like a big price movement with her, and I was like, I don't remember this being crazy popular. I was like, maybe like I don't know, like a thirst trap or something. And I was just like,
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out why she was going up in price. It's like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think it's just popularity of the character. Like she wasn't a useful card, just a popular character. I mean, a lot of the popular cards, they're not really playable. They're just popular characters.
Yeah, that's so different the way that like Magic gets its value. Like Magic Gathering, like a lot of it is from the playability of it. Pokemon's not really like that. Like Charizard's not that playable. Going this Fire Spin, costing 4 energies, deleting like 2 of them. Yeah, it's not really a giant one, but is that Fire Breathing Dragon. Although Hitmonchan was really playable, and there's not a lot of him just because that basic Pokemon 70 HP, just get a jab in there. What was your strategy when you were playing like Pokemon TCG? What type of deck did you have?
That was so many years ago. Like I would have to go back and think. What was I playing?
I like the grass decks back in the day because you regain. Those are the only ones where you regain energy. Like Bulbasaur's like Lead Seed or Butterfree's like Mega Drain. It's like, okay, let me take out some of these damage counters.
I remember I used to play. I was running Chansey in my deck. I remember that.
Oh, I don't think I ever really used Chansey. Why Chansey? What was good about Chansey outside of the 120 health? It was nuts.
Yeah. What was it? What was it? Set attack. It involved flipping a coin. Was it
double flap or? Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a basic Pokemon too. Let me take a look at this. Let's go to.
This was so long ago, like 20 years ago.
Yeah. All right. Chansey base set. Let's take a look at what we got here. It is. Oh no, it had 2. So it had Scrunch, which was flip a coin. If heads, you prevent all damage done to Chansey. But boy, that's a double edge. Did 80 damage, but Chansey did 80 damage to itself. Damn, that is could only use that once because I guess you could use it twice, but yeah, man, that is hardcore. Yeah, I guess you would. So I would use the same. I would use Kangaskhan because Kangaskhan all it took is 1 energy for this card for this move called Fetch, and what Fetch does is it allows you to just draw 1. So you're drawing 1 each turn, and it's just that was a good strategy that I had. Things came out so well there. So we've been going for about 2 hours. Wow, that was a quick 2 hours. What was the anything you want to tell everyone before we leave? Anything you want to depart some wisdom or bounce with?
Just make sure you got gems for Saturday. I saw some people who didn't have gems for the Darth Vader drop. Obviously, they tried to buy gems and it didn't work. So yeah.
Oh, the gem rate went up a lot on that Saturday beforehand.
Oh, this is actually going to be the first, not the first, well, technically second, but I would say the first proper full-on drop where you have to choose what you want to go for.
Yeah.
Because they're all happening at the same time, but there's
like 70 gems, right?
3 different drops. There's the Kozindan ones, there's the Vulture one, and there's the Shut Up and Paint one.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any other ones. I think it's those 3 only. But yeah, I'm going for Kozindan, because I like Kozindan stuff the most out of the 3.
I was gonna try the Shut Up and Paint one because that's the one with the lowest mints. I have like 888 of them. So I was like, all right, I'll take that. I thought that'd be legit. Were there like 70 something gems, right?
Yeah, I think Shut Up and Paint is like 77 gems.
Okay, yeah. So let's get the spread. Let's get it. All right. Okay, thank you so much for coming. And we'll miss you on Saturday. We'll take some selfies for you, and we'll go from there. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi.
Cool.